Hello, today we're going to look at the Chengdu versus Dragons game, and this game was really interesting in that, I'm going to spoil it, Chengdu clean swept, Dragons, is that what you call it, clean swept. But anyways, yeah, this game was just really interesting because, Dragons, they kind of they kind of just threw this game, honestly. Like, they made so many, uncharacteristic mistakes. But Chengdu did play, pretty well. Like even Shanghai at half capacity is still a force to be reckoned with because of all the individual talent in the team. Like Void, you have Izayaki, you have Lip, you have Fleta. Li Zhengan is kind of overrated in my opinion, but yeah, and Fate is just I'd say top 10 main tank, but I think he's a downgrade from Fearless, but even though he is more flexible, so to speak. Because Fearless does not really play Orisa well, and his ball is kind of questionable, but his Winston and Ryan are as always godly. So let's start. So let's look at the comps. Chengdu are running double bubble with Sombra Kree, and Sombra Kree's kind of weird in that usually you see something like Echo or even Ash or Tracer, anything that has no, I don't usually see Sombra Ash, but Sombra Echo and Sombra Tracer are this standard combos, and the reason is that both Echo and Tracer are angled threats, or can even have them both. You can drop the Sombra, but Echo or Tracer are angle threats, and this is really helpful because you can really coordinate really well with your monkey. You can coordinate pincer engages with your monkey, so you can have Tracer Echo go one side. In the case of Echo, Echo can use high ground and try to drop on the enemy, while monkey goes from the other side, and it will just prevent them from escaping an engagement from monkey. So this is really weird. In exchange for having a core that's really resilient to dives and stuff this, and also range damage, and you just lose the ability to angle well. You can have Kree take slight off angles, the roll buff kind of precipitated that, but you can't take really aggressive angles that you can do with Tracer or Echo. So I would like to see hunters go really brawly with this, because if anything, if the core plus leave get really close to Dragons' backline, they're dead. Kree will just right click flash stun with Gaga in the backline, and Jinmu getting a hack. That's a lot of pressure. So Hunter's comp is almost like a brawl comp, so to speak. A brawl comp with Winston, and Dragons are playing the standard ball diva thing, but with the Sombra instead of something like an Ash. And this is really weird to me because Fate will have to I mean, this comp should kind of win the poke battles, because you see Diva will get a lot of damage early on compared to Zarya. Ball, it can actually do a lot of chip damage. Tracer isn't really something you do and you look for poke, but it's really it still does quite a bit of damage. Sombra, obviously not really a poke hero, but has to do with the Zen. The Zen will give this comp quite a bit of poke potential and ability to poke out Gaga, and mostly Gaga, and maybe Jinmu as they engage. So what Dragons have to do is that they have to use their Sombra Tracer to go really aggressive. They have to control the flanks. They have a Zen, they have to control the flanks, and they have to go look for really aggressive dives from Fate, Fleta, Lip, 3-man dives, with Izayaki providing pokes, pressure, and Void providing support to the backline. If the Shanghai don't land a dive pretty quickly, then Hunters are just gonna close the distance. They don't have something like an Ash or a Kree that can really poke out Gaga, so something more consistent. So right here, Void takes this off angle. Mm, not. So firstly, I'm not sure about dragons like going this way. Like, in. Like, I think dragons should have scouted like beforehand, like where they were going, and actually go the opposite way because hunters want the short sight lines, dragons want the long sight lines, and right here like hunters are probably gonna win because look, short sight lines, and we have bubble monkey. That's kind of devastating. Not sure where Jinmu should have like pincered behind. I guess he tracked the sim TP and he didn't have enough time, so it's okay. But anyways, like you can see hunters, they just move their core up, and then they just roll. I don't like dragons' comp that much. Like you need an Ashe or like range poke, or to make it consistent. Otherwise, like you're gambling off the fact that you're gonna get like a hack like ball tracer engage on the back line. And in this case, like this back line's like really brawly. You're not gonna really dive that easily. You're gonna probably need to like slam, rotate your back line, beat back, and then go look for another slam. You need to maintain long sight lines with like the Zen, but like look, stunned. The Kree just makes it so hard. And speaking of which, where's Lip? Lip's looking for a hack, but like here's the thing, like these sightlines are so short that like that Lip can't use like his long hack range to his advantage. Like maybe he can hack from here, which might be an option, but this engage is gonna be so scuffed. And hunters, they just roll, they just brawl. Like look how much work this Kree can do once you're in short sight lines against this comp. Zen's kind of useless. So that was badly played by Shanghai. They needed to play back. Like the moment they saw the hunters like go like this, they need to like immediately try to like kite back, like kite the aggression, and then like while kiting they use like the ball tracer sombra like dive core to like kind of land like, you know, engages on the back line. But that is gonna be really hard. You're gonna go for it into this small room, and maybe like, you know, maybe Gaga can just like pincer this way and cut you off. Really damn brawly comp. And so on. So anyways, dragons are gonna probably switch. Actually, they did switch because like this comp. I really don't like this comp. It's just gambling on the fact that like if you're gonna run Sombra Tracer, why not go Winston like Zarya? Because like Sombra Tracer, they want to really go for like backline engages. Like you have to be really aggressive with like Sombra Tracer to get value. But yeah, like Ball is only like, let me put it this way, so Ball's engages are like actually like not as good as Winston engages. Like Winston, your backline draws so much attention. Ball in your backline is a mere annoyance, but the difference is that Ball can like is hard to poke out and really survivable. Like he can just go into the backline and just, you know, int and like survive. Winston can't. Winston has to stage or like get like support from his backline. So that's why you see Winston's go for like you know, less explosive engages before like closing the distance and having your backline participate. So like to put it this way, like Winston, huge distraction. Ball, like a minor distraction, but like you can easy distraction. So like it's like Ball is usually played in comps that have like a lot of poke damage. And why? Because like because Winston just requires like so much like support from the backline that you're not gonna be able to have like maybe have a Mercy pocket for like your Ashe. Like maybe Li Zhangong plays Mercy and like I don't know who plays Ashe. I don't know. I forgot who plays Ashe on Shanghai. I don't know, maybe Lip, but like you just can't support like your DPS as well if you're running like Winston. You need an Ana, which when like with Ball, you can just run a Zen and like kind of have more poke and more map control on the flanks. So like if you're not gonna get close to the enemy, then Ball's better. But otherwise, I like Winston better. Like if you're trying to get close and personal, or you're eventually gonna devolve into a brawl, then you want Winston. So now they switched to Winston Diva. I don't like this comp as well. Like, you see this comp with maybe a Moira Lucio, a really hard dive comp, but like it's gonna be hard. But yeah, that's the reason as well. But and Sombra to like kind of counter your aggression. But this comp's also bad because like firstly like you don't have a Zarya, like you don't have a Zarya, you have a Diva, so you're basically going for like really quick value. You're going for really quick engages, but you're running Zen. Like if you're trying to go for quick engages, your monkey's gonna take a lot of burst damage, especially with a Kree that can right click you. So like they need an Ana. Like they don't play Zen with us. They need an Ana, but they're not switching to Ana. And guess what? Fate like goes in and just gets blown up. And it's not even useful to blow like monkey up because like who's gonna heal up Fate? Like, it doesn't go to any nano because you're not running Ana. Like, having nano is really good with Winston, but because Winston is probably the best nano target in the game, in my opinion. But look, like Fate just stands in the open, takes so much like poke damage, and he can't be healed up. Now, how did Jinmu die though? So what dragons have to do is like they have ultimates. They just int in. They just like make space with Gaga. They shouldn't be playing this passively. They should try to make space with Gaga and like Izuyaki, Li Zhengong, they're dead. Like before this EMP happens, they need to out tempo. I think they're trying to play for their own EMP. Like maybe they expect Lip to not have this much charge, but again, it's Lip. Like he's gonna have a lot of ultimate charge. That's what he kind of specializes in, building EMP quickly. So like, if anything, like dragons, like they kind of commit here. They stay in the open, but like staying in the open against this comp is still inadvisable. There's still a Zen. Zen that can really do like some serious poke. So like Jinmu, how does Jinmu die? Oh, that's why. So he's trying to build EMP, but like EMP shouldn't really be their win condition right now. They can just kill this comp like easily with nano engage, and Void just kills Jinmu. That's sloppy. Did he even put his translocator? Oh, I think it got destroyed. Or he didn't even pop translocator. What? So this is sloppy from Jinmu, and they just delay the fight by so much when Lip's gonna have EMP that they just win. Like Hunters, they should not lose that, especially with their ultimates. They nano who? They nano Gaga, I think, but yeah. Who did M-Monkey nano? Oh, I think he gets hacked during the nano. 6, 7, 8. Oh, Gaga does get the nano though. But like they didn't set up adequately for this engage. Like there's no. Oh, sorry for the beeping sound. I'm gonna turn off objectives capture sound. Thank God. So so Gaga goes in, but they can just kite back the aggression. Like there's Jinmu's dead, so like if anything, Hunter should have like maybe even given some more space and like let the backline move up, or like punish this, or play to like maybe punish this aggression by Fate because he has a Zen heals. He has Zen heals while his backline's here. But like they should have really aggressed like earlier. They should have tried to out tempo dragons. Otherwise, like Lip just pops EMP and EMP is even if it's like 3 or 4 man, it's still an EMP. It's still gonna clutch fights. So right here, I don't envy dragons. They have to trans, so what I expect is Izayaki is gonna hide somewhere to like pop the trans against this EMP, and then like yeah, the trans is they're gonna trade a bit. They're gonna try to like burst down someone with like maybe a bunch of damage, and then they're just gonna pop something to confirm it, like maybe rally. And this comp has, and they have their rally of their own, but in the long sustained fight, this comp has no answer. And like the EMP is gonna allow them to close resistance like easily, so Izuyaki's gonna be useless after popping trans. So let's actually look from this fight from top down. So the EMP Izuyaki actually dies. GG's. Like without your main source of poke or like, and like now hunters with like they pop rally, it's not gonna win them the fight though. Jinmu kills Lip. Like this rally is wasted. You should just take the L. They pop rally, so what? You're gonna lose in a long sustained fight, especially after losing Zen that has so much poke. Like once Zen dies, hunters have the poke advantage because look, Somber Tracer versus Kree Tracer. Which one wins? Obviously this one. I mean, no, this one. That's what I meant to say, sorry. So, now, like, hunters are setting up for a really aggressive push. And, like, what I expect them to do is... So, like, now Fate goes in. And Diva isn't really in position until now, so... And they back up, they give him some space, but like... Now, here's the most important critical part, like dragons, they should play slow. They need to build an EMP, otherwise Grav is just gonna win. So, and hunters, I want them to like not make the mistake they did last time and use the Grav. Oh, that should not be happening. They, like, hey, there's a Diva, but just try to grab, like, at least, like, you can, it's a bit hard to maybe grab against a Diva, but if you, like, point it down and, like, you know, the Void just used DM, like, less than a second ago, and then it's gonna pop off, but you just really need to exploit the tended fact that, like, their tanks have like literally no sustain. Like they just pop the Grav here, like maybe they high noon. The Void, and does Void have enough DM to even prevent this? Like I bet like if they just Grav and high noon, then like obviously like the trans is gonna come, but if they just Grav high noon, then they're gonna the trans isn't gonna matter. And Lip has no EMP to pop because he's dead, or like his team's dead. Like this should really not be happening. Oh, the Grav gets eaten as well. This is what happens when you allow the enemy to kind of... That's what happens when like you have the advantage, but you allow the enemy to like, you know, get an opportunity to gain the advantage first. Like if you have an advantage, you should look to probably engage aggressively. And early as well, so they don't like engage and try to neutralize their advantage. Like they don't try to reposition, put their players in better positions. So yeah, like they should win this. Shanghai have EMP though, but Jinmu's close to EMP, so I expect like Lip to EMP early. Like they could EMP bomb. I'm not a big fan of EMP bomb. Because like that just means that you need like two ults to win. Like ideally you want to win with only EMP. EMP bomb is good though against something like trans. Honestly, like is Fleta set up for this? I'm not sure why. Like they have a Zen. Like why doesn't Fleta try to set up like on the flank at least? Does Vlad have enough time? Yeah, like, he has enough time, but he just blinks back for some reason. Some reason. And what is he doing? He's trying to scout out for Jinmu. He isn't even shooting. This is baffling. Why doesn't Fleta like hide here and then so that like, and like you know Fleta can even get the Harmony Orb, and then like for when they EMP, when Lip EMPs, what can happen? You have your Fate jump in. Fleta goes in from a pincer. GG's for this fight, and then it forces like Hunters in a static fight, but Fleta doesn't. Fleta just blinks back and then has to like blink forward and allows Dragons to just Hunters to just kite back, and oh, this is a great counter EMP though. Like so, you can see Fate tries to exploit this EMP. That's fine, but okay, here's the Zen diff showing. Like Fate can go in, but like if they poke you out, you're just gonna get forced out so early. Like without the Ana, you can't go in. You're not a ball that can like just roll away and get health packs and like dodge damage. You're a Winston. Once your bubbles pop, like you're dead. And like they just punish it. Like the counter EMP was good, but like Li Zhanggong and Fate don't die because like that's the wrong play that they did. It's because they have a Zen. And they're not even using their Zen correctly. Like, they're not putting Orb on Fleta so he can pincer and, like, pincer dive with, like, Feint. Like, they're just throwing their abilities away. I'm not impressed with Izayaki so far. And this is just gonna be a clusterfuck. So, Hunters, like, they do get the nano, and you see? Well, let's look at this fight. So both sides are kind of pressuring backlines, but the Kree should like give an advantage like against like Babzen. And like backline trades, the thing with backline trades is that like Hunters will win usually in neutral because they not only have Kree as a defensive weapon, but they also have so you have Ana, which is like a bit more resilient than Zen. Like Dragons have like a walking liability if Gaga like gets close. But more importantly, like Li Zhanggong like pops rally, but Nisha pops it. And as you can see, like it's just gonna force both support ults. From like I mean they use both support ults, but Dragons use theirs defensively. Hunters use theirs offensively, like they nano Gaga. Like Among dies, but it isn't gonna matter. Not only can Fate like not live, but like once you close the distance, it's just gonna be Gaga, like Hunters is just gonna get the advantage. Like so right there the fight was decided just by like ultimates and like the fact that Dragons allowed them to trade backlines. Like where was the backline position? Like you really want the backline to be positioned kind of passively. Just so you can get like poke in before. You can use your poke advantage and your like map control advantage by putting Harmony on Tracer. And like where are they even positioned? So they rally, but they kind of use it as a tempo ultimate to like, you know, get like kills from here. Lip kills Jinmu, but I mean, like if they get a clean dive, it might be fine. But hey, Gaga can like engage him as well, and Gaga's engage is gonna be better by virtue of like you know Dragons' backline being not as brawly as like Hunters. So like this dive like quickly wears off because Fate and Void just get chunked down, and Meanwhile, Gaga still gets heals because guess what? There's an Ana. Guess what Ana does better than Zen? Heals. So like, they use a tempo. They use like rally for tempo, but like having this such a like pokey backline, tempo like using tempo ultimates for tempo is just not gonna work. So what do I think Hunters could have done differently? I think they could have just like had like there's a stagger fight. And like what I think is that like Dragons should have like positioned their backline like further back. They should have used the rally defensively against like maybe the Nano. It would have like canceled the Nano. They don't have Tracer follow up. Like until, well actually now they do. They had Kree before though, so. And just rally to like absorb the thing and absorb the Hunters as like engage, and then like just look for a combo. Just look for Winston Tracer Sombra combo on like Hunters' backline. Like once like Kree does use a flashbang, like Dragons' comp is just Dragons can actually like get stuff done in shorter sight lines without like well like Void can also eat the thing, eat the flashbang, but once you like force roll, then Kree will have to play more passively. Can't really like create crossfires in the backline and stuff. So once like Hunters do use their cooldowns, like the brawl advantage that they have equalizes, but the fights just go on so quick, and they don't. Like Hunters just engage on like Dragons' backline and it melts. So now they're running the Sombra Tracer thing again, and like the far pick is weird, but like it actually is good. Why? Sombra Tracer, like you're at least gonna probably get like Sombra Tracer off of their heroes if you're playing Far Mercy, and Void can try like poke out Jinmu, but or like contest like Nisha and Jinmu, but a single diva it's gonna be hard. Izuyaki can try to poke out and can discord either of these players, but still it's gonna be rough. And more importantly, like in terms of interrupting the rotation first fight, like Flan and Lip have to get set up. So like Flan and Lip have to like look for like aggressive like engages on the back line. Now they're like the more brawly type of comp, well, so to speak. As in like you go more for backline engages. Gaga and Leaf, like they're just trying to like, they don't have a Zen, so like they're just trying to provide a distraction, really. Like they're gonna get, it's gonna be kind of hard for them. Like Gaga has to be careful with being poked out. He does have Ana, that's his, so he can't really like go for really aggressive engages. So he's just gonna be like a walking like annoyance basically. And Sombra, obviously, like Sombra can like poke from range and stuff, but it's gonna be really easy to poke the Sombra out. So Dragons, like if they can like get a good backline engage, then yeah, things are gonna be good. But let's look at here. So like they get their backline safely, at least their Ana is up safely. The problem is not like Elsa will probably have to like contest angles like really proactively or stay closer to the Sombra. I mean like the Ana to peel. The great thing is that like at least Diva like kind of like makes these heroes kind of meh. But like in regards to like solo diving, but if like three like Fleta, Lip, and Fate like they all land on M-Monk, then he's dead. But they just have to be careful to avoid like poke and yeah. No, I am concerned though, like where's like Dragons' backline gonna position? So they rotate this way, but Void is not helping them like secure this rotation. Void is just like in the distance doing something. I mean now like he kind of peels, but like he doesn't peel for Izayaki, who's being like shot by Jinmu. And good pincer though, good pincer. Like Gaga goes here, Jinmu goes here, Izayaki goes here. So really good pincer by hunters, but it shouldn't really even be possible. Like, where was Fleta and Lip? Like, they should be using their, like, superior map control to, like, maybe poke out Gaga, for example. Even though I don't think poking out Gaga, but more importantly, maybe they just have to play, like, in any way you put it, like, this pincer is gonna be hard. Like, it's gonna be hard to get your backline to a good position and, like, simultaneously, like, get your divers into position. Like, Void needs to help. Void needs to help the backline contest. And, like, in terms of... I'm not sure what Fate is doing. If I were Fate, I think I might... They're trying to spy check for Sombra. Like, sure, that may eliminate one of the angles eventually on like, the backline, but... I think it would be more productive to, like, maybe, like, Discord, Gaga, Harmony, Fate, and then just try to, like, poke. But they're just poke, like, you know, Gaga out, but they're just spy checking. And meanwhile, like, their backline's rotating. But, like, don't get a real engage. Like, Hunters get the first engage, and it's a really good engage. Like, they just spend too much time on the flank trying to spy check, and like, even set up. Like, this comp and everything is they need to set up, like, more and more, so, like... And on, like, a control map, I don't really like that, because the fight's just gonna be like, oh, you try to set up, oh, we just like, took the entire point, and no, we just killed, like, your backline as they're trying to rotate. So, like, now they switch off the Zen, understandable, finally. Like, I mean, the Zen's not bad with this comp, it's just that... I don't think they're gonna use the Zen, like, really... They're not using the Zen really well. And the Zen is gonna be a problem to, like... Well, I mean, like, the Ana... I'm not sure if it's better than the Zen even, but... You know, to each their own, maybe Shanghai. We're getting tired of being pummeled on Zen, like, being a walking liability. Like, not the player, but just the hero, like, can be a liability once they close the range, like, close the distance. So, yeah, like, Shanghai, they just take too much time setting up last fight, and let's see if they make, at least, like, now, like, they can kind of take their time, because, like, the fight's gonna happen. Like, ironically, by not, like, taking point there, at least it'll make it a bit easier for them to, like, set up and stuff. So, oh, how does Izayaki die? So, firstly, like, this far is gonna be a huge problem. They're gonna, like, them here, like, rotating for open sightlines. I'm not sure about that. Especially, like, far, like, Void tries to contest far. But in that chaos, like, they're not... They allow themselves to be dived again. Like, sure, Void's contesting far. Great, you have one angle. How about, like, there's a Sombra behind and Gaga's just gonna slam in. Like, someone either, like... I don't know, like... Dragons are trying to set up, like, the dive, like, obviously. Like, that's why... I'm not sure, like, why Fleta is, like, so passive here. Well, what is he doing? He's trying to dive Elsa or something. But they're... But it just looks like if there's anything that is going to be more useful to poke out or even hack, it's Gaga. But, like, maybe Lip tries to, like, you know, defend, like, at least, like, his back line while they're trying to set up, play more defensively instead of, like, looking for dives because, like, hacks, because, like, here's the thing, without backline contribution, like, this dive is useless. So like yeah, they're just playing. The divers are playing so aggressively while their backline is struggling, and they're not even contesting like even scouting for like Sombra or like contesting Gaga. They're just letting their backline be pummeled by like multiple angles. Okay, maybe Li Zhang. Like what dragons have to do, like ironically, is despite the poke advantage, they have to play defensively until their backline's in position, and then they go for aggressive dives. Like right here, what is Li Zhang doing? Is the damage really gonna come through here? What? Well, like Li Zhang also kind of threw that. What is Li Zhang doing? I don't understand. So right here, yeah, and now like hunters just have all the ultimates. Well, Lip does the EMP. They'll probably get EMP engaged. So I want like hunters to like actively spy check. Maybe Elsa spy checks. Okay, and finally they get one of their dives. So in all this chaos, they let Lip be here for some reason. Someone should really... Ideally, you want to spy check Lip and like force him out, but... What does Fleta do? Where is Fleta? Fleta's staging from the left. Like, you don't have a Tracer to match. You have to take that L. Maybe Elsa tries to like, may scout this and then try to poke out Tracer, but... this comp isn't gonna be like one of those like... They don't have a Zen at least, so like... I think Elsa should have like poked out Tracer if he knew that Tracer was here, but so now like Fate does engage and they finally do get their pincer engaged. But if I were Chengdu, like I would have like want to like. The problem is that as I say this, like their backline's not able to like support it, so I don't think Hunter should have even died here. They could have just kited back, and like they wouldn't be running into Dragons' backline. It's not like double bubble or something, but still. And yeah, but this ult, like it looks bad, but it's actually brilliant. Why? It secures this res, and it secures a res on an Ana that has nano. So this is actually brilliant, yeah, brilliant barrage. I don't think Jinwoo even intended to get someone, so it was probably like deliberate. They were trying to like secure the res using the barrage. It forces Fade out, forces Fleta out, and then they get the res. So this was actually a brilliant like barrage, and allows them to survive. It cancels like all the work that they've done, that dragons have done, and now like their backline's moving up. But by that time. But yeah, like Fate and Fleta, like they are still healthy, but Lip dies somehow. Like if Lip didn't die, like dragons could still try to like engage to move their backline to a more aggressive position. But yeah, like Gaga, like also good healing play. So look at what Gaga did. Instead of looking for an engage on like dragons' backline, like interrupting the rotation, maybe like. He like Gaga knows that his backline is like like Emong died, so like when he dives he has no backline support. So he instead goes defensively, tries to help secure the res, and then he recharges, and then he looks for like, and then he looks to like engage and create a crossfire with Jinwoo. So really good defensive play, and it's not only like defensive play, like he defends and then he immediately transitions to like the attack and like feeds, and the feed was like pretty bad. Not gonna lie, but it probably won't matter because they're still respawning, and it doesn't change the fact that their backline's still like having trouble. Like they need to they need to get their backline up, but Fate kills M-Monk again. So both sides trade EMPs, but let's see. But like Dragon's Lips EMP is only a one-man EMP, but this is a 5-man. Of course, Hunters are gonna win. They have to pop mines. Not ideal, but it's still good. It guarantees like an overtime stall from Dragons. Like overtime stall trying to cap, I mean. So yeah, like EMP def. And Dragons, they just lose this off of like sloppy mistakes. Like Fate, like the divers, like instead of like playing defensively and Void like plays a bit too aggressively, I've seen Void like not help rotate the backline, but instead look for like pressure. But pressure is like nothing if you don't have your backline with you. You can put pressure on the backline all they want, but you need like your Ana Brig to like support you. Otherwise, you're just gonna die, and they're gonna die because like there's a counter engage, and they have like Far Mercy. So you can just literally peel off, and then like they can immediately transition to like, you know, attacking your backline, and boom, they're dead. Like Dragons, they needed to like play defensively first to ensure that like and take map control, and then like move their back, use soft engages to move their backline up, and then like go and then like, you know, go for like, the hard dive. But like firstly, like that comp really required you to hard dive, but also you can't really like soft in. Well, I mean you can, but like with like the Tracer Sombra, you really need like your backline to be not your backline, but like you won't do much of those soft engages. Like you won't get as much value because like you need your Tracer Sombra to like be in position to follow up. While if you have like something like Tracer Ashe, then Ashe can like shoot from afar. Doesn't need to set up as much. So yeah, like Hunters, like I mean Dragons, they can't soft engage and get like a lot done with it, but they still needed to, and like a lot of times they're just like going for aggressive staging while their backline is still like not in position to support the engagement. They killed Mbong twice, but it doesn't matter. They're like Dragons, Li Zhenggan, Izayaki, they can't push up. Sorry for the lag, by the way. So now, like, Dragons are playing a Brawl comp. Sorry for the lag, it kind of freezes like this, especially when I'm streaming, but now Dragons are playing a Brawl comp, and Hunters, they're positioning really aggressively. Like my initial thought was that like they're positioning here expecting Dragons to run like a ball comp, and which in this case is going to be a legitimately strong position. Your backline will have to move like either under the bridge, which means free like dive, or like have to rotate here, which would actually like which could be a bit awkward because like Monkey can still isolate the backline and can still cut off the backline from like you know they're still gonna like be engaging in short sight lines, so it's gonna be really hard to like engage like a Winston comp in short sight lines, especially double bubble with like, you know, a poke comp. Like you would have to like find some way to poke out the Winston if you're running a ball comp, and it's not gonna like be easy because like you could try to poke out from here. Winston could, I mean, from here you could put like, you know, some Ashe here, try to poke out Winston staging here, but Winston could literally just hide here. And yeah, it's just gonna be hard to, and then you have to rely on your ball to like kind of make some space so your backline can push up. Like especially on attack, like ball comps can be a bit tough against like a double bubble comp. Against a brawl comp, like not as much because you just literally just kite back their aggression, create and kite back in different directions, and then like can just poke them out easily. But my Winston comp is hard to poke out. They can go out, hide and cover, and then like when you push in, they just engage. So anyways, so now like they're trying to like they're trying to like clear the high ground first, maybe get some kills on the core, force them to back up at least, but which is good. But like in the process, look at what Void does. Void just engages too early. Like not engages, like takes the angle too early, and look, it's just 1v6 before like his team is able to like pressure. Like the only thing that does is stop them from kiting maybe, but even then, like if they want, like it's a cost at the cost of like, look, so much CC. They have Kree and Torb, and let me just talk about the Torb pick. The Torb's actually a decent pick. Why? Firstly, pain in the ass for like if they run ball Tracer, like ding, 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 like it's gonna be hard to play. And secondly, like against Brawl, like look at the crossfire like they have, like the potential crossfire. They could have like Torb turret, Torb himself firing on another angle, Winston, Core, maybe Monk takes angles, Leave can take an angle. So like I count like 6 different angles. Like that's basically all the players. Like usually like, you know, Monk and Elsem, like I mean, and Nisha will not be taking won't benefit from taking angles, but like basically all of the 5 players plus this one quote-unquote player can take the angle. So why are they running, you know, Kree Reaper? Like Mei would be good here. Like Mei, I think Mei would actually be slightly better because like, you know, you can enable rotations if you're trying to go right side. I would have like I wanted to see him go right side once, but they just run it down main all the time. It's okay, but like you're just taking a gamble. You're running into their map control. They're running into like where they want the fight to happen. But more importantly, like the reason why like teams will run like Reaper instead of Mei against like non-brawl mirror is just because like Mei's really good in the brawl mirror, like incredibly good, but like some teams argue Doomfist, but yeah, like in the brawl mirror, like Mei's like really good, but outside the brawl mirror, like when teams play more split, then like Mei doesn't get as much value. So sometimes you see switches like Tracer, Reaper, sometimes Doomfist could be like good, especially punish like, you know, poke comps. Like I'd say like poke comps in that like teams that play really split, like for example you're playing double shield and you have double snipers on like another world entirely, then like Doom can kind of punish it, but then like I'd say Tracer is more consistent. But anyways, let's take a look. So right here, like they try to rush, and like I'm not gonna lie, like Hunter's positioning is really damn risky. If they time their pressure right, like Fleta should be flanking in my opinion. Like avoid like fly up with Fleta's TP defense matrix, like the stun, like the Torb spam, and then try to like get a backline pick wall. Like they push here, like they're not splitting their attention because like Void just staggers in and Fleta just front lines. But Monk also lands like a really big nade. Let's go back 5 seconds. Like look, he gets the bubble, so good coordination and big nade. Yeah, it forces Immor out, and since you're not pincering, Gaga, and more importantly, look at what Gaga's doing. Gaga is actually, as like they push the core, Gaga has to like, immediately relieve the pressure. Otherwise, like they're just gonna run over the core. So Gaga goes into the back line and shocks the back line, forces like if they don't clear out Gaga, like they're just gonna slowly die, especially with this nade. But they don't. They're just focused on rushing the core. Maybe someone should be sent to like maybe shoot Gaga a bit, but then there will be Torb spam. Like that's the advantage of taking angles. Like it's angles on like by being split, you actually make yourself safer in a lot of cases. But like yeah, like Gaga relieves the pressure, and like they get a kind of pincer engage. Like the core push in, like they kind of kite back this way while Gaga's actually pushing in, putting pressure on the back, and like yeah. And then combined with the nade, it's just too much for Dragons to bear without a defensive ult. So but here like Gaga actually gets 2 DP. He goes in against a Reaper without his bubble nor his jump, so Gaga actually feeds here. Um. So, yeah, this fight is interesting. It looks like they might, well, like, and then, like, they just play aggressively. So, like, right here, it looks like they might be considering to, like, play back, but, like, they're like, hey, because, like, even though this brawl, like, their brawl, like, ultimately failed, it was really scary. Like, if you can look at the cores, like, POV, like, it's almost like they were run over. It was just like Gaga and Monk's big nade that kind of saved them. And also avoids like pretty bad pressure. It wasn't this fight. Like, since it looks like they almost kind of died there. So right here, like, they don't have their monkey, but... And they lose... No, sorry, missed this fight. They actually lose 2. So you can see they're backing up, and then, like, they're like, hey... They're like, hey, fuck it, let's like, you know, try out-tempo them. So this is like the best chance there were dragons, in my opinion. Like that's the best chance they had to win this. But the problem is just that so like the kiting. Look at how like they in Chengdu kite. So like they're trying to clear high ground. Yeah, they could just honestly speed to point as well. It's 4v6 and like they're gonna force hunters to reposition. Like if it was 6v6 it would be risky to force point because you won't be clearing the angles before, and this puts you in a lot of angle pressure. But they do kill Jinmu. That's like they only have their core plus leave. So but notice like as they're trying to clear the high ground, Elsa actually kites this way and like so they get big bubble. Holy shit though, this play. So they kite this way, but like meanwhile they don't really wait for Void. This guy's like dead. So firstly, by not waiting for Void, there's nothing to contest angles. It makes the angle threat from hunters a lot more threatening. Maybe like they should have like at least send like maybe Diem or Fleta to like contest the flank. Maybe even Li Zhengan to like, you know, put poke pressure. But like they don't, and it allows Elsa to like just beam them down and build grav. But look at this play. Since nobody's checking the flank, there's no diva. He gets a big stun. No diva to eat it, by the way. And then M-Monk just throws a nade. Second ability thrown at them, and look, this just will turn the fight around. No Gaga, no problem. And I just don't understand, like Shanghai, why didn't they wait for Void? They have respawns. And like with the high energy Zarya, who's on the flank, they kill. Fleta dies and Diem dies as well, and this fight's now you're gonna have Gaga's coming back soon. So they like if like it's a 4v6 enough, or it's a 4v4 right now. They equalize, and what hunters can do is they can just like wait for ults and then throw them on Gaga. But like without both their DPS, like yeah, no win. So Shanghai, they just really fucked this fight up. So they consider like holding back again despite having all 6 players, but they decided to hold forward. And why? It looks like once like a double bubble team is ultimates, like it's okay to like really just hold forward even against like a Broly comp where like you normally have to soften up this comp, but with like poke and like, you know, soft engages. But like force out cooldowns, build Zarya energy, but in this case they already have like a lot of resources, so God just goes in. Not my favorite nano though, because like there's not really a pincer threat. They should have just waited for dragons to go in a bit before nanoing. This is just like, hey, shoe for my choke type of ult. So not my favorite ult. They still have Grav though, which is a significant threat, and will rely on Void to like probably eat that Grav. They do consider rotating right side. Honestly, like if they had a Mei, maybe they could just like wall off here and try and like flip the point. That's what I would have preferred. But they don't. Like they just keep running it down main, like Shanghai. Well, is this Shanghai? Or is this like a prank? And oh, they just stand in the open. And there's still a Kree shooting, and Izayaki. What the fuck? Like Void should have been like DMing this at least. This is just sloppy micro and sloppy macro to an extent, but sloppy micro mainly in this fight, and Izayaki just dies. He just gets dinked before the fight even starts. So now they have, and Fleta tries to feed. So right here, so yeah, now they try to do the same plan, clearing the high ground. I would really want to see like a pincer with like Void and Fleta, but you can see like now Gaga goes in, and like this is a bit aggressive in that like he kind of jumps in and tries and can hard commits, but like it's made worth it by the fact that Emon likes a huge nade. And like they Grav as well, and they Molten Core, so they combine Grav Molten Core. They use 2 ults and they get a big nade, and the nade is big. It forces beat by and Immor, and like who cares if they beat, because if you beat, like you're still beat doesn't mean that your team wins like a defensive, like a defensive fight, like when you're trying to defend against Grav. Like it doesn't mean. Just because you beat doesn't mean you win against a Grav. In fact, like oftentimes, like the beat is just like it just delays your inevitable like fate, because like the thing is, while you're in a Grav, like hunters are basically free to take angles all around the Grav, and then once you get out of the Grav, you're just gonna be like pincer and then like attacked from all sides, and you're just gonna die. So like. So like hunters, by landing that big nade and grabbing, like they force Li Jiangang to use ult defensively, which is bad. Like beat engages are good because when you're beat engaging, you're actually trying to get an advantage, and you're trying to use that advantage to snowball a fight. But without using, but if you don't get like if you haven't used beat defensively, then you're basically using an ult to try to survive and maybe bait out aggression, but like against like Overwatch League teams who can like kind of control their aggression if they're doing it right, if they're not Pepegang, then like yeah, it's just not gonna work. It's just gonna like give them so much map control that they're just gonna like kill you after like your beat ends. It's only 6 seconds. So right here, like I really want them to like try something else. Like hunters are just perfectly set up for like them pushing main. And right here, dragons actually have a good chance to win. So one option that hunters could have chosen this fight was for them to hold back so they can try to farm nano and engage off of that. But in this case, like they decide to hold aggressively again. They're probably relying on M-Monk getting a clutch nade. But like Gaga, look. And they switched to Moira Lucio. I'm not a big fan of the Moira, by the way. Less diveable, sure, but once Moira, you force out Fade, Moira is like basically like almost equal to Zen in terms of diveability, and more importantly, you don't have like the Immor, which is really important against like double bubble. It's like the key thing that makes double bubble engages like painful in the first place. Like those like defensive cooldowns. I mean neutral engages, like soft engages. But like Gaga, like This should be happening. Like, Gaga just gets 3 off this primal for free, basically. Like, his backline pushes up good, but Gaga, like, just juggles, like, Izayaki and DM. So much for Mora not being diveable. And, like, Gaga overextends, but it doesn't matter. The damage has already been done. They have Nano next fight. And a cycle of, like, double bubble ult starts again. And so ideally, you want to cycle, like, you want to win with Nano one fight, and then, like, you want to use Grav the other fight. If you don't have Grav, then you maybe play slow to build it, or you win off something like Rally, or use your other ults, but you just want to cycle in between, basically, Nano plus, like, maybe one of these ults, maybe, if necessary, and then you use Grav and then one of these ults. Or like, Rally can also be a win condition in some cases. It depends on, like, the enemy comp and how much, like, if they're, like, if it's like a double bubble, like, mirror, then, like, or, like, even a ball, like, Sig Ball Diva mirror, then, like, Rally is really effective. Against Brawl, though, it's less effective, so their main win conditions are going to be, like, Nano and Grav. But let's see. They have Nano again. And Fleta kills Elsa. Unfortunate. This could be big. I think Elsa might... But, like, look. They kill Elsa, like, sure. But, like, this Blossom by Fleta is just so bad. Like Blossom is an S tier ult when mid to, like, late fight, but because, like, when everyone has used their cooldowns in Blossom, there's nothing to stop it. But, like, early to mid fight, Blossom is just, like, a weak ultimate. You don't Blossom until late fight. Like, Fleta blossoms way too early. Get stunned. Like Void can DM it, sure, but not all cooldowns can be DM'd. Like, you can't DM, like, Zarya bubble for peel. Like, Zarya dies, but and like Izayaki gets, like, Cole, but so they do clear the high ground this time. Bad ult by Fleta. But, like, now they have to peel off the monkey. So, like, here's the thing. They're trying to push, like, Leave, but in the process they leave their backline hanging. And Leave has like, roll. Well, Leave should probably die. Oh my god, the peel though. Well, not the peel, like, I mean just the heals. Like, look, Nisha, like, gets the pack from... Gets all 3 packs from Nisha. But, so, like... Holy shit. Like, the peel from M-Monk and Nisha is insane. I'm not sure if, like, heals through the like, thing. Misses some shots, but it doesn't matter. It saves Leave, and more importantly, it baits dragons to, like, ignore a Nano monkey, and, like, that's devastating. You can't do that. Like, unless it's, like, a beat engage, maybe, but even then, like, Nano monkey's gonna chew from your like, HP, like, so bad, so like, quickly. And this brawl by dragons is just botched. I don't have any other words for it. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. How like, scuffed this brawl is. And this is just gonna be a stagger fight. So, like, yeah, like, dragons, they just lose this off of, like, such bad, like, engages. Like, ignoring, like, the threats on the flank, not going into Hunter's map control instead of going around it. So many sloppy mistakes. And Hunter is, like, I do give them credit for, like, being this aggressive, especially against a top tier team like the Dragons. Like, Chinese Overwatch, like, generally Chinese players, like, they tend to be more aggressive than, like, their Korean counterparts. Like, China and, like, a lot of games, like, Chinese players, like, even in League, like, they're all about, like, aggression. They're all about, like, using their, like, micro skills or mechanics. Like, M-Monk, that's why he, like, went for such cheap, like, you know, aggressive nades. It's just, like, Chinese style in any game, going really aggressive. And like stretching the limits on what mechanics can do. And Gaga as well, like he was also really aggressive. Sometimes he's like a really aggressive main tank. He feeds a lot, but like he carries a lot. And he sometimes like plays defensively pretty well as well. So big props to Gaga like this fight, but I mean this game, the series. But now like let's look. Dragon switch like a double bubble comp with double like poke heroes. Fleta can kind of try to like follow up with Fate, but mostly you're gonna be poking. Well, I was mistaken. It's not double bubble. It's Winston D.Va. Understandable. Winston D.Va. I'm not too sure about it, just because like, I mean they're running double poke. They're not gonna be looking to like brawl as much. So, but like if you're running poke heroes, like you're probably gonna go for long fights, and long fights Zarya gets like a lot of benefit. And, like Zarya just provides a win condition for like a Winston comp. Like Zarya having high energy is a win condition on its own. Like burns through everything, but the problem is just getting Zarya to that high energy state with bubbles. But I honestly would prefer Dragons to run double bubble here, but D.Va could work. D.Va just needs to like, D.Va's main job is gonna be putting pressure on like flanks and stuff, and peeling for like Izayaki, who doesn't have Brig. But Hunters are running double bubble with like, they really like the Kree Sombra. So they're gonna be looking to like just brawl, like punch them in the gut. And so right here, Hunters, what do? They are preparing to go in. So first they look to clear the high ground. They switched to Winston D.Va actually. And like in this case, D.Va's more understandable. Like when you're going for like punch like brawly fights, then like you want and like you probably want like shorter fights, and D.Va's gonna be like more value. Double bubble is also like a brawly comp, but like you're going for like longer brawls. I think Hunters want to go for like, they just want to like go in with consolidate a bit and then just punch dragons in the gut, like make these poke heroes kind of useless. So right here, look, they clear the high ground. This is important. They clear the high ground first. They force like Fate and Void to leave, and they use this room as kind of like a to consolidate their cooldowns and to like maybe plan a bit. I don't know what happens in Owl comms. Maybe they do have set play, but they do want to like consolidate a bit. They are like chilling, and meanwhile like Void has to be really careful. Void should be spy checking and kind of like trying to like peel off Jinmu. Peel off Jinmu from like getting hacks. Like right here, DM's really exposed. D.Va's like Legion Gon's pocketing Fleta, so like DM has to be really careful. He shouldn't be playing this split. He should be like maybe playing like maybe playing this high ground, but. And if he wants to go aggressive, then tough luck. Fleta gets like the Mercy Pocket. But as you can see, like they just punish this easily. And by the way, this engage by Fate is bad. Why? Like ideally, like what is he engaging on? He's not drawing much attention. It doesn't stop like the backline from just peeling him off. Like. And more importantly, it's not only that, it's just that, look, can Fleta really follow up from this, with this? This was a really bad engage. They used the leap, Winston bubble, DM, to like, essentially achieve nothing. And like, look, DM just dies, but this engage like will give Hunters like the initiative. Like they use their cooldowns, but I think Elsa still has like quite a bit of DMT like compared to like Void. Like Void squandered a lot of his DM on that engage. And look at this. This engage is bad because like You engage here. Congratulations. How are you gonna exploit it? You don't have Tracer or Pincer here, and even if you did, like, you're going to this small room with the Kree. Like, you need to wait until like hunters, like as dragons, you need to wait until like hunters like actually go push their core. Then you look to like relieve the pressure by like, you know, jumping on like these targets, and then you can have crossfires from Fleta and Diem if he wasn't positioned this dumbly. Like, dumbly, I'm not... that's a new word, but... Like, look. And more importantly, like, look at what hunters do, though. When like, Gaga goes in this way, their core pushes up and they look to brawl. They're pincering, and Void, like, lands here. And then Sombra's on another angle. GG's. Like, good engage by hunters, but dragons really fucked that up. Like, that bad engage allowed the core to just push up for free, and that's the game. So this isn't like characteristic dragons. Like, this looks like honestly what Valiant would be if like they weren't suddenly like, actually Valiant are not that bad even. Like, people expect Valiant to be bad, but honestly, like, Valiant has done surprisingly well. One team has even been losing to like Valiant in scrims. So like, so let's take a look. Let's see these comps. Dragons are on attack. They're running Winston D.Va. I'm not sure. Like, normally this would be ball. They're running Winston for like the verticality, but here's the thing: your Winston can't really go in like that for that long. Like, Winston can jump up. That's a benefit, like, on this map, but Winston, like, compared to like a ball, which doesn't require as much backline support, Winston will require a lot of backline support, and they're running Mercy Zen. So like, they're essentially going for like two things. Firstly, like, Fleta's gonna be like looking for like map control, looking for flanks, gonna be trying to get map control, and then maybe trying to like coordinate like, you know, engages with like Fate, and Fate going in, Void might go in as well. But like, dragons are pretty much running a poke comp with a Winston, which I don't really like. Like, Hunters' comp, like, they're running Echo like Widow. Widow's actually really good, long sight lines. And they're running like the on a Mercy. The Mercy can be a potential problem though, because like if like Fate and Fleta, like, they go into the backline, they're able to actually get into the backline, then M-Monk doesn't have much peel to work with. And generally you don't want to be using Zarya bubbles to like peel for backline, because then you're not using it to aggress, which is bad. So right here, Gaga gets the bubble, gets out, farms energy. That's fine. And as you can see, like, Izuyaki's here. Like, they're eventually, like, they're gonna want to get their backline to high ground. Like, fortunately, they do have, these can get into like high ground for free. So does this with like Coach Gun. Fleta like will take the stairs, and so only Izuyaki really needs to like go here. And isn't that risky actually, because not only are hunters not running with like the you know, full like dive, but nor a tracer, but yeah, but also like hunters don't really want to be engaging here. They want to be engaging here ideally. So like, Gaga kind of like is just farming energy. Honestly, these engages don't really do that much aside from farm energy. And even then, maybe farm nano as well, but even then, like... And during these windows, like, Fate... I honestly want Shanghai to, like... Shanghai to at least try to, like... Well, why does Fate drop his bubble here? Like, that's kind of a waste. Like, Fate is just getting his balls, like, either forced out or it's just yeeting the bubbles away. Like, I want to see Fate, like, actually go for soft engage. But you have to have Void go in with you, because like, look, they have Echo, which can really like focus you down, and like focusing beam is pretty powerful. So yeah, like, but if Void goes up, then like that's then like the tank line's gonna take more damage, and you're gonna have Li Zhengon having to heal Void and Fate, and not pocketing DM, which gives like hunters more time to like establish ult and build ults and get their share of poke to have a mercy as well. Like the Zen pick, it's just baffling. Like it makes more poke. Like is Fleta even taking advantage of it? Fleta's like staging, sure. But there's going to be long stretches of time where Fleta won't get the harmony. And like Izuyaki doesn't have good sightlines and good discords. There's not much to really like. You could discord the Gaga, but like that just means probably more farm for Gaga. For like, you know, M-Monk's Nano. So like they close the distance. So Gaga goes in on the core with like the bubble. Leave tries to follow up. Now my only concern, this could be a bit... This is probably more of a soft engage. You're probably looking for Nano. If Gaga isn't careful, you might just like get blown up with like Zen. That's what Zen's good at, blowing up like players. But he does like manage his cooldowns, and he is gonna build Nano for M-Monk. Nisha dies though. How does Nisha die? Just like goes in without clearing Fate and Void on the flanks. Like this is a mistake, yeah, positional error. Like there's still Fate and Void like looking to make an engage of their own. So like conveniently they can just, yeah, like this is just positional error. Li Zhengon does kill DM, so I think they're gonna look to build Nano and then they're gonna pop. But now like Hunter's backline is on the ground. And like once like, you know, you're in the second stage, the Zen's gonna get more value. Why? To an extent, better sightlines, and more importantly, things are happening on the ground more. So like, you're gonna have Fleta be able to like take aggressive flanks and have like Fate pincer from here. And like, what hunters have to do is like, firstly they should either like try to out tempo dragons and try to like just close the distance and go hard engage on the back line. Like this engage does force trans out, that's good. Even though Gaia does a primal. How? But yeah, like this is a bit disjointed though. Now the core is on the ground, which is not ideal, and like Nisha like feeds. So like this is gonna be tough to win now. Like if they can, like Fleta could just like honestly harass M-Monk and he dies. So like the core are trying to contribute to the fight, but they look kind of confused. And losing Nisha is actually bigger than anticipated. They're probably waiting for Nisha to come back, but by that time, like since hunters don't get a clean engage, like Dragons' poke advantage will show. And look, Leave has to go for open sightlines. Gaga eventually does get poked out. So yeah, losing Mercy was big. Because like M-Monk is now scared of moving through open sightlines, even with a Gaga in, because like any chip damage that he takes is not going to be healed up, and he's going to have to commit nade. And also like, if you don't engage quickly enough, like hunters, like dragons are just going to poke you out. Oh, that's brutal. So now with their comp, they want to have their backline on high ground. Maybe like DM pushes cart. I think DM pushes cart, yeah. They want to put their backline on high ground. But like they have to be careful because Hunter switched to a Diva. Understandable given the verticality of this map. There's But with the Echo Sombra, I think we're still gonna have like an advantage in the brawl, especially with the Sombra. So like yeah, I think that's what they're gonna do. Like the dragons have to be careful about getting hacked in the engage as well. So right here, this is interesting. So like, so like hunters, they actually go low ground. And like right here, I don't really like. I normally won't like this, but like I saw the official stream. It looks like they were trying to actually bait like inferior engage from dragons. So dragons like they have high ground, but they don't really have a brawl. They don't have the ideal like brawl like type of comp with Winston, and like so they're just really gonna be kind of stuck on high ground. Sounds ironic, and like what they need to do is that they just really need to use their poke advantage. Like Fate needs to play like kind of slowly, but like it looks like Fate tries to go in. Goes in and he stays for a long time. And like hunters, they pop ultimates. Like now DM should get some good work done on high ground though. Nobody's contesting. Well, maybe Elsa, but that's only gonna be a limited time. Maybe Elsa is a bit overzealous. So he gets a lot of poke. But here's the thing, like, everyone just kind of drops. Well, does Izuyaki drop? So hunters, they're at a huge poke disadvantage. It's absolutely huge. And like they're hunters, they do send some people high ground to contest. But no, look, Izuyaki just kind of drops for some reason. Why doesn't he like, stay high ground and try to like make the poke advantage even more of an advantage? And like Vo and DM. DM panics instead of like coach gunning to like the higher ground, so to speak. Like he just is forced to drop. So now like dragons, they get a huge poke advantage, and like they are engaging on the back line, so dragons still have a good chance of winning. Let's see but like they did lose their positional advantage, and now like M-Monk's just gonna pop the nano. But here's the thing: once you're in short sight lines, like it's gonna be hard. But like in this case, Gaga just gets. And dragons, they should win this. So like I think this baity engage actually goes wrong for hunters. They don't take the high ground. They try to like bait dragons into bad engage, which is and they pay for it. I don't really like this from hunters. It is a valid strategy, just like kind of cheesy. Like a bad engage for dragons would actually be really detrimental. They don't have like, if you take too much damage, then like it's gonna be hard to come back from it. It's gonna be hard to heal it up. Like if your tanks like take 500 damage each, then like Li Zhanggon's gonna have his work cut out. That's like 20 seconds of healing. But anyways, now like both sides are mirroring. Like now that Jimmy has a Sombra, Fleta has like the more consistent pick of the Tracer. So like dragons, what they should do is like they should like firstly spy check, of course, but more importantly, like they should use Fleta and try to like just get value out of Fleta being like on really aggressive flanks. So like put the Harmony on Fleta and Discord, and like maybe Discord Gaga, make it hard for him to like take advantage of like Sombra being in the backline. Jimmy does EMP though, and Izuyaki does trans, but in the process Fate just gets blown up. Niche, they trade. Now I'd probably I'd take this fight if I were the Dragons. Like, they popped EMP, Bomb, Primal, and they're still struggling to win this fight. Well, they're not struggling, but the Gaga died, so... I'd take this fight if I were the Dragons. Like, it's like, they... DM should not have popped Bomb there, though. But it's like a 4 ultimates for 1. Quite a good deal. I think Flutter popped Pulse Bomb, but that doesn't really count. That's like half an ultimate, to be honest. So right here, I want to see, like... Now Gaga switches to the ball. Now it's going to be really interesting. And with the ball, like, versus the Winston, I think ball's better. Especially as the verticality is a bit, like, less pronounced on this point. But more importantly, like Fate will get a lot done, like, if he manages to engage, but when you have to disengage, that's a lot of healing for Li Zhenggan. Like, switch to Ana, Izayaki. Izayaki should switch to Ana, honestly. Like, even though they were playing this comp, but now, like, their hunters are running like a better version of their comp, basically, with the ball. And Jimmy, like, sticks on the Sombra, so maybe it's not ideal. Like, I usually prefer ball and Tracer, not ball Sombra, because Tracer can make use of Harmony better and, like, can follow up with ball a bit better. But hey, to each team their own. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, like, why, like, no, I'm not in Chengdu's, like, you know, coach chat. Anyway, so Fate tries to, like, contest high ground. Sure. But, like, someone has to contest this angle. Someone has to contest, like, Jimmy on the flank. Like, Void, that's pretty much your job. And, like, in the process, don't even clear out Gaga. Like, if anything, like, any poke that hunters do to, like, Dragons is, like, Fate is gonna be devastating. There's nothing to heal it up. And, like, yeah, like, look, they try to push, but they get repelled because, like, they're hacked. And they do try to take the high ground, but they're kind of forced down. And look, Leave kills DM. Like, Dragons don't get much where they're engaged because it just gets easily poked out. But like DM kind of feeds. So DM tries to go on this high ground simultaneously with, like, the Fate and Void, but, like, he goes too early. This is too early. Because, like, this is basically, like, in order to, like, maintain this high ground, you have to have something to hold this high ground. So maybe Void can, like, kind of hold this high ground, but Fate gets forced out early, and then eventually they're gonna poke out Void. But more importantly, like, this is a good shot, I must admit, but even, like, Fate, like, I mean, DM commits Coach Gun to this, and, like, if they like manage to, like, kill like DM, like, you know, Void or force him out early on, let's continue res. But look, Hunters just have that control, that map control, and look, if they just die. So Dragon, I don't know how they can really, like, win with this comp aside from, like, ultimate like this. Like, maybe, like, Primal's a better ult than like Minefield, but like, otherwise, like Fate's gonna take space, but he's not gonna be able to hold it for very long. Meanwhile, Gaga can slam, go out, and not put a lot of pressure on his supports. So, and yeah, and M-Monk is doing a good job of, like, tempering. M-Monk's discords, though, are pretty good. this match. Like, as you can see, Fleta tries to take map control. Fleta tries to go on the flank, try to take a flank, discorded. And like, they get 2, but it gets rezzed. Well, like, Shanghai have this problem where, like, by running a tank that can be poked out for, like, so easily to pre-fight, like, Ball doesn't really hold space that well. It just, like, creates a distraction, but Winston's better holding space. But, like, they always suffer from this problem where, like, they can, like, jump in, but they're so easily forced out, like, that it's not really gonna matter. Like, having a Winston is not gonna matter. Like, Nisha just reses for free because, like, well, not for free. Nisha does die. I think Nisha should. They do, like, Shanghai do hold the space in that case, but like, they're just, like, taking space but not being able to hold it. They're not able to put DM in good positions because, like, Winston gets forced out easily. Meanwhile, like, Hunters, like, they're on defense, so they won't intrinsically be able to hold space, but they have Sombra. Firstly, they have Sombra, which is really useful for controlling space, actually, because of, like, her long hack range. And secondly, like, Gaga is just harder to poke out, so, like, his engages are actually going to be slightly better, in my opinion, than even Bates engages. Like, playing Ball. That's the advantage of playing Ball, you can't get poked out as easily. So anyways, like, now at least, like, they're gonna look to engage backline on, like, short sight lines. Fleta kills too. So yeah, good combined pressure from Dragons. And Monk does kill Izuyaki though, that's kind of brutal. Especially because of the respawns. Oh, so Izuyaki peeks. Kind of peeks unnecessarily. Like, you know, like Izuyaki, you know that M-Monk's gonna 5-orb, probably prepare 5-orb, so why is he doing this? And look, and good use of the spawn door, like, Flood does get 2 kills, but he could have gone 3 if, like, they didn't have the spawn door for protection. And, like, without Izuyaki, though, they're gonna... M-Monk dies, but once M-Monk comes back, like, Gaga's gonna have, like, they're gonna be able to discord Fleta, and Fleta's gonna start losing health, and, like, they're gonna not be able to sustain, like, their flank presence. So Gaga kills DM. Where's DM? So DM gets, like, booped to the flank, kind of unfortunate. Li Zhengong gets hacked. So they're not really going for this Sombra well, and, like, it just adds up. Like, all their sloppy mistakes just add up. Like, they're going for a backline trade when, like... They're kind of going for a backline trade when like, Hunters are respawns, and you don't want to trade when you have when the enemy has respawns. You want to get a clean fight win, even if you have to risk. Even if you have to, like, play passively and try to, like, get an actually good, like, clean engage without trading. So like, Izuyaki dying and, like, them, like, ignoring Jimmy in the backline. Let's see how much value Jimmy was getting. Like, they're not clearing Jimmy really well. Like, shoot. Void's, like, fucking around. Void's not... Look, they're not clearing Jimmy. And, like, not... Firstly, any poke damage against, like, you know, a Mercy Zen comp is going to be extremely consequential. It's not like Ana where you can just heal it up. Secondly, Jimmy just... It's so much EMP charge, poke damage, hacks. It's ridiculous. Like, Dragons, they're so sloppy right now. They're not clearing angles, and they're just letting... Now they clear angles, good. But like before, they weren't clearing angles. They're just letting like people in the flank, like Gaga and for Jimmy, like get value for free. Like Dragons, this match has been so bad at controlling the map. So right here, Li Zhanggun has Void has like bombs, so Hunters do have to be positioning really careful. They have to position near natural cover now. They can't stand the open. I mean, they should always be positioning around natural cover, but especially now. So now, like, they do another backline trade. Like, they trade backlines again, but in the process, Izuyaki is left behind. Like, this is... Like, Void's focusing so much on pressuring that, like, he's not peeling. Like, at least maybe rotate Izuyaki to a more, like, peelable position. Like, before going in. So, like, they just go in with Li Zhanggun, like, you know, and popping, like, Valk, but... And M-Monk does die, like, yeah. So they just kind of int in and risk... Well, M-Monk doesn't even die. Li Zhanggun has to peel, but, like... like, since they have to peel, and, like... There isn't even, like, a good pincer. This... Okay, sorry. Like, I skipped too much. I mean, I did skip too much. Accidentally click buttons a lot. Like, here's the thing, like, it isn't even a good engage, necessarily. Like, where's Fleta? Well, Fleta's here, but, like, they can just kite back to spawn door. Like, why isn't... Like... It's gonna be hard to stage, but, like... He doesn't have... Like, Zen's dead. No Harmony or Discord. And secondly, like... And secondly, like, he isn't in an aggressive enough position at the start. Like, he needs to get the Harmony. So he can survive, like, the chip damage and actually stage aggressively. Maybe he stages even back here, and M-Monk would have probably been dead. I mean, he does have blinks to spare, but... Good peel, though. Good peel by Elsa, yeah. I mean, like, I don't think staging would have made a big difference, but, like, the Discord on board of it. Like, they just go... They just, you know, int. And they're not even considering whether even trading backlines was good. They're just leaving Gaga on the flank. Izuyaki has no peel, and like Void's pressuring the wrong things. Like, pressure is peeling, like, yeah, quote by Spylo, but pressure is peeling only if it's the right pressure. If it's the wrong pressure, it's not peeling. If you're not stopping Gaga from getting a free engage for free, then you're not peeling Gaga. Or like, if Fate like did really get a really good engage, then like Izuyaki was well positioned, actually, not here, then Gaga would be, like, you know, compelled to, like, stop, like, you know, immediately relieve the pressure and maybe get a bad engage. But in this case, he isn't. Like, this engage is kind of scuffed, so like the previous engage was kind of scuffed, so like you just kill Izuyaki, and now Li Zhanggun switches to Brig, but giving, like, Hunters the poke advantage, but at least Izuyaki will get peeled now. But so with this comp, they want to go aggressive. Like, they have the Zen, which allows their backline to, like, move up more aggressively. So they do get two. I mean, now they just really... the bomb does get kill Nisha. So they want to close the distance into short sightlines. Gaga perhaps takes a bit too much time to like relieve the pressure. But at this point, yeah. At least they do get like Gaga doesn't relieve pressure early enough. The Ryan pick is kind of cheese, like get it past the finishing line. But yeah, like it's just so sloppy from Dragons. Honestly, what are they doing? Like maybe like Hunter's one option. They like I think Gaga was like a bit low and mispositioned there, but like it took them like 4 minutes for them to win that fight. It took them until OT. So right now Dragons are running like the same poke comp with the Winston. Understandable given the verticality of this map. Meanwhile, like Hunters are running double bubble, and then obviously it's the same double bubble thing. You move your backline up here. You have Winston jump up here, and then you put Jimmy on long sightlines. So Dragons like they should be holding close, I think. Well, like not with their combat, honestly, but if they don't if they hold too far back, then Jimmy will just get free sightlines on DM, which is bad. M-Monk dies, kinda sloppy. M-Monk's trying to oh, just takes a 5 orb plus void. Kinda sloppy, but right here, like, yeah, and they do try to like spawn camp lol. So now right here they're actually switching to like the poke comp, the better version of this comp, with the Diva. The Diva's like, I think Diva's better here, just verticality. Gaga's gonna have trouble getting on high ground more than Fate, but the advantage is that firstly you can't be poked out as easily as Fate. So like Hunters, what they should do like while Gaga's like still not in is like try to poke out Fate as much as possible. And M-Monk will be focusing his discords. It's M-Monk can like take the trade-off. Like Leave will have a harder time trying to like stage like dives with Gaga. Like he won't get like the help with harm discording Fleta, but in exchange like Fate just can't do anything unless he's discorded all the time. So that's a trade-off that M-Monk can make, and I think it's a good trade-off because you're not going to be able to really, like, there's a lot of, like, cover to use for Tracer, so you're not going to be able to consistently discord Fleta. Fate, on the other hand, will just be in the open a lot of the time, so. Right here, Gaga. Jimmy kills Diem. Where was Diem position? Oh, holy shit. Those mechanics, though. That was just a mechanical thing. And they get the res, but they are mirroring like Mercy, so getting a kill, even if it's res, is still really impactful. So Gaga, Gaga engages, kind of. It's really hard to pal drive here. Oh. And this engage doesn't really do much, though. Well, like, Leave does have this going, like, kind of staggered. They are putting cart pressure, though, so they're gonna push the cart to the second half, and then, like, Dragons' core will have to rotate. Now, the thing I don't really like is that, like, on second half, like the Verdant, like Ball's gonna have an easier time staging, and because like some like will have to drop the low ground to like contest cart and stuff. So the Winston's gonna be a bit worse, and like there's not a lot as much high ground. High ground doesn't. I mean, like this high ground matters a lot, but Ball can now easily access it unlike before, without getting like poked out easily. So right here, like Dragons, Hunters, They they play back, so I think they're trying to take high ground. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. Good. So, like, I mean... Fate jumps here, but, like, this isn't a good engage. You're quote-unquote peeling for Gaga. Maybe there's a Discord. No, the Discord's gone. Well, what is Yaki's this? Like, Elsa just, like this engage, like, it doesn't enable anyone. It doesn't enable, like, Fleta to, like for one, like, Fate's, like, shocking tanks. Sometimes you need the shock tanks to, like, contest, like, areas, but contest staging, but at this point, like, you're not gonna be able to use this area anymore. Like, first, you don't have Ana, so, like, easily poked out, unlike a ball which can dodge around and, like, come back, can dodge shots, and yeah. But more importantly, like, it's not even that, like, your backline can't even help you in this engage, because they're all, like, right here in server room. Like, they can be cut off, so that was a bad, like, jump by Fate. And now, like, Fate does get a better engage. Like, his engages are just gonna, like, without, like, Zarya or D.Va, his engages are just gonna be so short. And but he does go here, but where's Fleta? And I mean, it draws some attention, but like where's Fleta? Where's the pincer from Fleta? And like, more importantly, where's the backline support? Who's gonna be able to get value of this engage? What space is being made? Like, Fate just needs to play, like, more defensively. But, like, okay, this is, like, a short distraction, but, like, it's the same as in, like, Eichenwald. Like, Fate just goes in too much, like, too far in with, like, like, without Fleta in. Like, last time was a poke comp, but this time it was without Fleta in. And more importantly, like, it just disrupts enemy position for, like, a few seconds, but, like, there's no follow-up. So, now Gaga's engage is going to be better. And, like, doesn't matter, they win off their poke advantage. And reason why Hunters have poke advantage is because Ball, like, baits out a lot of, like, missed shots. Or, like, they don't poke out Ball at all, in which case Ball just power drives and uses all his abilities for free. So, like, Hunters, they just use their poke advantage and win. And, like, it's not like a big poke advantage, it's only like a slight poke advantage, but Fate just like seals the deal by going in without his backline being able to follow up. So right here they hold high ground. Now, like, as far as I remember, Hunters actually like do an interesting thing where they stay low ground. They don't have like dash push card. Oh my god. He's just feeding at this point. So he goes here, he tries to stage, but he has no Ana. First of all, no Ana to help him stage. Like, if you don't have Ana, like, against, like, a ball comp that has so much, like, poke damage and, like, angled pressure, then, like, Fate basically has to, like, stay near his core. He can... Like, he can't really stage like this. There's no Ana to help him stage. There's no Zarya bubble. I mean, now they switched to, like, D.Va, but there's no Zarya bubble, like, before. Or, like, D.Va defensive matrix, even, because, like, D.Va will have to fly all the way, and by the time you're already going to be poked out. But Dragons, they actually... I mean, Hunters actually do an interesting tactic. They push low ground, and they just try to bait out a bad engage. I mean, Fate has been feeding lately, so... So, they pop the... Like, ironically, against a dive, like, a dive comp, like, the enemy running dive prevents your team from diving. Because, like, they disrupt staging, like, they contest your tracer on the flanks who are trying to get into the backline. So that's the same, like, same thing, like, Fate's just, like, getting cucked because, like, He's just getting poked out every time he like splits apart from his team. So like they are on low ground. They're just baiting at this point. So they pop the trans. That's the tool they're gonna have to use. They just want to play this slow. Well, Gaga. Well, at this point they're trading back lines. But like dragons have the high ground. DM shouldn't be dying. DM just takes so much poke. DM just like positions way too far forward, I think. Or at least in this small ass room where a lot of AoE damage. Like Jimmy gets a good headshot though. Reds the needle. And DM dies from Gaga. Good pressure. But they could have cleared out Jimmy shortly, but shortly after like DM got headshot, but like the thing is that Jimmy just lands such a clutch shot. And like a dynamite as well. So at this point they're just trading backlines, and you'd think that dragons would have the better of this backline trade, right? Well no, guess who drops? Izuyaki dies, DM dies, and look, they're just feeding into the meat grinder. So Jimmy actually lands a huge dynamite, was a huge shot, and like changes like the backline trade. But at the same time, Fate, like the trans kind of like saved. So this was a really risky plan actually. They used the trans just like there's nothing like really particularly good you're gonna trans here, so you can use a trans just as a baiting tool. So at this point though, they win the fight, they win this point, but someone has to clear up Fate. Like nobody's accounting for Fate. Like maybe have like Elsa poke out Fate, but nobody's poking him out. And he's just gotta like engage for free with cooldowns. So this is kind of sloppy, they're just Wing in without clearing Fate first. Now, let's see what happens though. Like, look, they just don't clear the angle. Okay, Fate's back here. Someone, I mean... I thought Fate would like set up there again. No, they don't do the same shit twice. So now, like... Now I think Fate wants to be switching the ball as soon as possible. This isn't that good for Winston anymore. So... What Hunters have to do is they have to, like... They clear this angle first, and then like they force like everyone back into like a tighter clump, and then like they look for poke and dives. Same thing. They do have to clear out. They scout out, and then everyone clears out. Even Gaga does. Good defensive play, and it forces Void to peel. Flooded dies though. Like Flooded just dies. Kind of interesting. Great headshot by Jimmy. Jimmy has been popping all game. And like without Fleta, like Fate's dives are gonna get less like value, so Gaga's dives now get more because Leave is still alive. Fate just killed Jimmy though, and maybe Jimmy was a bit too aggressively positioned to get. He got the pick now, I think he should just maybe like Nisha. Yeah, I think Jimmy was a bit mispositioned there. I think he should just like, well, even though this isn't a bad position per se. I think he just like to stun the open a bit. And took too much like chip, took too much damage, and peak DM. Yeah, this is like this is kind of like risky, but without like vertical, without like since they don't have echo, it's not as bad. Echo or anything with a lot of verticality, maybe. Well, basically only Echo can like really execute like good vertical like dives, but without like proper staging. But anyways, like yeah, like, this is just a micro error by Jimmy, but he does get rezzed and like, but in the process. Fate kills Jimmy, but and Void like. But in the process, yeah, like, where's Leave? Now, here's the thing, like, DM's playing outside of Bregalos and dies. Like DM is out of position. DM should, like, they're all like playing really split. Like Fate like jumps here, understandable to get like the kill on Jimmy, but like yeah, firstly like that's where like having no Ana shows. Well, like Fate kind of feeds here actually. So he gets a kill, great. Wait to jump back, play defensively. But he goes on Monk. Forces out the trans, to be fair, but no Ana, and like he should have just like he should have just like wait until maybe Fleta comes back so that the dive can actually get results, and even then like. He kind of jumps, like, Fate jumps. Like, Fate has been performing really poorly this game. I think he jumps in. Doesn't even, like, drop. He jumps in, commits. And then, like, you're not ball. You can't, like, just... And then Fleta's not in position to follow. This dive is just bad. Bad engage by, like, dragons. And, like, normally they have such good engages, but... Sometimes, like, this game is this a prank where they put, like, Valiant players? Like, not even Valiant is as bad. Whew, anyways, so, like, right here, what is this bomb? Like, this bomb is basically like a Hail Mary bomb, and it just gets easily burned out. So now, like, they're gonna probably take the high ground, try to contest high ground, and at this range, maybe the Winston will be better at directly like contesting, but. But yeah, like. So it looks like it's just a staring contest. So this is actually like, yeah, smart by hunters. So Monk kills DM again. DM has had really terrible positioning. Look, these dives are just WN dives, but let me actually show. So like Leave loses a Tracer 1v1. So it means that like he doesn't lose a Tracer 1v1 question mark. But like hunters, like they're playing Beatty again. And Monk kills DM even. But like, yeah, like, oh, this wasn't a fight, but like, this was a bad engage by Fate anyway. So Fate engages, but like no pincer, like they're not using like the benefit of having like the why do I even have a Zen if like Flash just gonna like W in, not even gonna attempt to stage, and look, it just gets punished with like good defensive play by Gaga, but they're not even trying to stage. And Gaga like and Leave has been like playing like Leave plays Peely and then like forces out the tanks, and now like Leave doesn't even have to necessarily stage because Izayaki just gets blown up. But more importantly, with like Ball can easily pincer him like Winston. Like Ball can easily just get behind enemies rapidly, so like Ball and like Ball's Tracer will not require as much staging. Meanwhile, like Fate might have better engages like by playing Winston, but like he's gonna need to not only stage himself if possible, or like his like Tracer will have to stage because while it's easier, it's not easy to easy to kite a Winston. It's not easy to kite a Ball. Ball will just chase you. So like yeah, like they just engage and then like Hunters like they just counter engage. Once you forced out like the Winston and gave them a huge backlog of like, you know, players to heal, then like yeah, Hunters are better. Hunters comp and their play has been better this game. So right here, Hunters are on defense, and does Fate run the ball here? I think they did. They're still on this pretty bad comp. So now, like Dragons, like they don't want to give up too much card progress, so they're holding aggressively. I'm not sure why they're running this then. Why don't they just run double bubble? Something more brawly that can actually like fight well in short sight lines. Because here's the thing, like this comp is equally bad in short sight lines. Well, they do switch to Ball, but like but if you want to like spawn hold, like wait, they're not on attack. Fuck, I'm stupid. Oh, I thought like oh shit, I thought that Dragons were on like defense for some reason. I was saying that like if like Hunters want to hold close right here, interesting, but like if they want to hold close, they'd be wanting to run double bubble instead. But anyways, so Gaga tries to engage and does get some value out of it. Forces burns some time, and like that doesn't really stage well by Leave. So like Leave like pre-game should like if Gaga want to slam here, Leave should be in like positioned here, so they could pincer. But like yeah, it isn't really like. On the other hand, like pincering here would be like ridiculously unsafe because like once like you get forced out, you can't recall back. So I guess it's just for like to be safe. So and then they switch to and then like their Winston, understandable at this point, but they switch to the Ball. Now like they want to be putting their backline on high ground. Oh, they're just trying to put the 3 on cart, trying to get as much cart progress. It's now mirror comps, basically. Yeah, it is a mirror comp. And now, like, they do make space, but hey, who's winning the Tracer battle, though? Like, in this neutral type of fight, like, whoever wins, like, the Tracer 1v1 or gets, like, better staging is gonna win. Probably, because better engage with Ball. So Fleta just, like, runs it down main for some reason. I don't like this. Fleda's not really staging, he's just pushing cart. I mean, there is a cart to push, but it's a diva push cart. But Leave, like, does a good job of, like, peeling. I mean, like, peeling off Tracer. Like, he plays really defensively, actually. Now, Fate just feeds. Here's the problem. Fate took so much chip damage. Like, Gaga is just, like, winning. Like, instead of, like... I don't like this. So, like, instead of trying to, like shoot Gaga, like, Fate's just running away from Gaga. But, like, Gaga already, like, this is a good play by Gaga, though. Gaga, like, knows that Fate is cut off from his backline, so, like, he just tries to poke out. Anyone can poke out Fate, like, maybe Elsa can, Jimmy can if he gets sightlines, but he knows he's cut off, so, like, now Gaga has the HP advantage, and in like, you know, low heal comps, like, comps with, like, low amount of healing, like, poke damage is absolutely, like, poke advantages are absolutely, like consequential. And now, like, Fate tries to engage on, like, M-Monk, so not only does, like, Fleta not have positioning, so Leave is just like, hey, I'm just gonna play defensively so that Fleta can't just clutch this fight out by, like, killing M-Monk. So good peeling, and then, like, afterwards I can go for, after I can, like, you know, punish this, I can now finish the fight by staging. DM does kill Gaga, but it doesn't gonna matter. C9. But even if they didn't C9, like, even at this current moment, who's gonna win? Like, Li Zhenggon's gonna heal himself, but positionally wise, positioning wise, like, honestly, right now though, like, I think that, like, yeah, Li Zhenggon is dead, and they're gonna win off of that. So now, Dragons are might want to hold close. I'm not sure what happened. I don't remember. And right here, I think this was just decided by, like, they're doing, like, the same cheese again that teams usually do on attack. So, like, again, they teleport their backline, they sim TP their backline up. And they push card and Chengdu, like, really do, like, baiting, like, low ground engages. Well, like, I don't think this is the case though. I thought, like, they might keep, like, a reasonable amount of people on card just so Dragons could just to bait in Fate, who has been, like, having bad engages all game, but look at these discords, though. Let's look at M-Monk versus Izayaki. So, like, right here, they want to force out Fleta, hopefully on a flank. They'll be looking to engage with... Yeah. Great peel by Elsa. Great. Amazing. So firstly, Li Zhenggon just feeds. Li Zhenggon just threw us. Best main support. Yes, let's go. Like, he just, like, this is such a bronze mistake. Like, he just, like, goes through open sight lines against pocketed, well, like, not even if it's not pocketed, then against Zen, pocketed Zen, and the Nash. tries to like, well, what? And without the mercy, like, Gaga kind of feeds as well. Not sure what Gaga was doing. So he just get poked out way before. And this engage was outside backline LOS to an extent. I think Gaga just needed to, instead of trading backlines, which which is better supported. As you can see, like, this is a better supported engage by like Shanghai. They have LOS, but they do not have LOS on Gaga's engage. Like Chengdu, they don't have LOS. Let me use a different color. They don't have. So this is a better engage. So Gaga should have just waited for like Fate, waited for the core to absorb Fate's aggression. So that even if he dies, that engage still gets value. M-Mon kills Izayaki though. Oh, huh? Why? So, like, Izayaki just takes an ego duel with an M-Monk and pays for it, and look, you lost both supports. Li Jiangan might be coming back, but once you lose both supports, the fight's over. Void dies because, well, you lost both supports. Who's gonna heal Void? Any chip damage that Void takes is gonna be like, it's bad, like, so. And yeah, Shanghai just clutched this. Not, just, well, just. Oh, what I was saying, so Shanghai just clutched this, but not in the good way. They clutched defeat from the jaws of victory, because it looked like that, like they could win off of like Gaga like having a bad engage, but they didn't. They lost like Izayaki because he takes an ego duel. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, that's quite the VOD, and hope if there's any viewers, hope you all enjoyed. Peace out.